Continuing with verse 15, antar drig-drishyayor bhedam bahish brahma-sargayoh āvrinoty aparā shaktih sa samsārasya kāranam. Antar, bahihi, inside, outside. This difference that is experienced by us, whether it is a difference between drik and drishya, the bheda, the difference, okay, or this external bahihi bheda, in what? In Brahman and the world, the difference that we experience or perceive, that difference is not real. Why? Because that, remember Maya Shakti we spoke about? So that āvrinoty covers as though, and aparā shaktih, very beautiful, okay? So aparā shaktih, instead of saying vikshepa shakti, earlier it was said vikshepa, so projects. Here now it is being referred to as aparā shakti, referring to shakti, yeah? So what does it do? The difference is it as though covers, and that is samsārasya kāranam. The cause for our experience of becoming that I am not enough, okay? The secret sorrow that we all have, despite our several coordinates wherever we are in the world, that I am not enough, or I don't have enough, and therefore I am not enough, whatever that is, okay? All that is the experience of samsara, which means that it's not a psychological problem. It's a spiritual problem of taking the drishyam, the form, to be the drik, and then feeling upset that the limitation will come to an end. So how is our experience of samsara? Typical karta bhokta, the doer. We are, every day we are thinking, am I doing enough? Maybe I need to slow down. Maybe I need to do more. Maybe I need to do differently, all the time. And maybe it's important, in our different roles and responsibilities, it's important. But one can use the mind as an instrument and do what you can and be happy with it. But no, because of what I have done or not done, or what others expect me to do, that's a big one, okay? So then there is a lot of self-judgment. And then I don't only judge myself, I judge the others also. Sometimes I shame them. I diminish people because of the way they are, what they do, their lifestyle, so on and so forth. Or I also get that experience, bhokta, experience. That is samsara, karta bhokta, or through all your roles, what you are giving to the other person, how you are relating to the other person, karta. Then how you are, I am not happy with the way I'm treated. Oh, I'm loved so deeply by everyone. Oh, I'm so thrilled. I'm so happy to be with my loved ones. Whatever it is, okay? Karta bhokta. All the way, that is samsārasya kāranam, because bheda is not seen. Actually, all the experiences are happening for the drishyam, for the karta, the bhokta, the doer, the experiencer. But and I am sada bhami. I am always illuminating all this, not in a indifferent, detached way, but I illumine, it doesn't touch me. You have to understand this, okay? There's a very subtle difference. Otherwise, it may border on apathy. We are not talking about apathy here. That everything is illumined, everything is experienced, and nothing is opposed to the reality of who or what I am. So that bheda, the difference that we experience, because of which we start to believe that we are superior or inferior to the other, more samsara, okay, that bheda nasti. From the standpoint of the absolute reality, there is no difference whatsoever. Okay, there is difference in form, no doubt about it. Hopefully you will not pat your husband and kiss the dog, or you can do both, of course. So there is no confusion. You do what is vyavahara yogya, you definitely do. But the bheda, because of which there is conflict, loneliness, isolation, all that that is there, that will be removed only when we recognize that it is because of this avarna shaktih. Okay, then 16. Sakshina purato bhatam lingam dehena samyutam chiti chaya samavesha jivasya vyavaharikaha. The Sakshi, which is the witness consciousness, what happens to it? This linga deha, the sukshma sharira, or rather the subtle body, I just referred to it earlier, it is inert, but because it is samyutam, it is united with the body, it becomes sentient. But I thought prana was sentient. Prana is inert. Everything is inert. All nama rupa is inert. Jadam. Only because of consciousness it functions. So in the presence of Sakshi, all this, the linga deha, the subtle body is united with the physical body, and therefore you pinch the person anywhere, the whole body is sentient, right? And due to this reflected consciousness, chiti chaya, there is now one entity here called jiva, jivasyat vyavaharikaha. There is this entity called jiva, Mr. Jeeves. Okay, what's the story of this Mr. Jeeves? Mr. Jeeves, verse 17, asya jivatvamaropat sakshini avabhasate āvrinoty tu vinashtayam bhede bhate apayati tat. What this jiva, Mr. Jeeves, the identity of being an individual who is interacting with the world, that status, jiva, that jiva is it an absolutely real status, meaning if it is real, jiva is present at all times, in all places, in all situations. But that's not the case. Actually, what has happened is there is aropa. Aropa means superimposition. So that Sakshi, which illumines all forms, Jivatvam has been superimposed, projected on Sakshi. And here I want to draw your attention to one word, Sakshini. Sakshini means what? In Sakshi. Okay. So your identities or confusion in identities, whatever goes along with that territory, that is present in Sakshi. If you say in Sakshi means Sakshi is bigger, greater than this Jivatvam status. And then āvrinoty, that as though covering that is there. Tu, indeed, when it is destroyed, vinashtayam, then that bhedam, that disappears. Apayati, gone. Jivatvam is not there. And therefore the problems of Jivatvam is not there. So here I have to elaborate a little bit on the three orders of reality. Actually, there are no three orders of reality. Okay, there's only one. But to begin with, I have to say it. Okay, so there are three words. So absolute reality, paramarthika satyam, isness, that which is always present in all times, places, situations, isness. Then vyavaharika satyam. So the jiva interacting with others. Okay, now in the ocean, paramarthika satyam, the absolute reality, is water. It can change any form, but every form, big wave, small wave, is pervaded by water. So the status of being a wave, an individual, is vyavaharika satyam. It's not real, but one wave interacts with the other wave, fights with the other wave, makes up, gets together. There is a community of waves, sangha. There is discussion, there is debate, there is moving apart, etc., etc. So like in this camp, I've had to, generally I'm there for meditation and the morning session, but we've had to change that because my mother had a fall. And so she needs a lot of caring, because she's on the bed. So from sponge bath and feeding and medication and the works. So now this is the vyavaharika satya. Okay. That one wave has to care for the other wave. First time. So, one has to go through, at least like for the mother. Oh, I never thought I will languish like this on the bed. And when will I get up? And then I want to die. And this is too much to bear, this pain, because leg is in a cast, cannot move. So this is vyavaharika satyam. Okay. So now one wave is caring for another wave. Vyavahara, interaction, transaction. And so according to the norms of vyavahara, we do what we can, right? What is in and through both the waves? Water, paramarthika satyam, that's the reality. But there is one more satyam, pratibhasika satyam. So thinking that, oh, I am so affected, my life is finished. Just because I had a fall, I want to die. Bhagwan, please take me. Why do I have to suffer like this? And I'm fully dependent on my children. Oh, I don't want this life. Okay. So there is a condition which needs some taking care of. Then the feeling related to it. Okay. that is pratibhasika satyam. So my subjective take on the fact that it's an injury, it will take its own time to heal, and that's that. And there are people who are taking care. It's okay, and yes, it's a little bit of a bother, but we can manage. Everyone can manage, no problem. But the pratibhasika satyam, suppose the mother starts to feed this build up, I think it's better to die only, and further build up. So then what will happen? That will seem real. We can find enough data and more to support the fact that I deserve to die. Yes, depending on how we think. Or we say, of course, I deserve to live. I should live, So the unique jiva srishti of the wave, pratibhasika satyam, okay, which means empirical reality, not even empirical, it's subjective reality. And jiva, the word, is ihaloka paraloka gami, Vedanta Sara, for those who are familiar. You are world class, not world traveler. Oh, this is, British Airways has that tag, world traveler. So world traveler plus, etc., etc. So this ihaloka paraloka gami jiva, is that status absolutely real? No. It is vyavaharika. That's what he's saying. That this vyavaharika satyam, which is, this jiva, it's there because of aropa, because of superimposition. Drishyam, body-mind, wave form, is confused for being the Atma. And then I am struggling because of the problems of the body and mind, because that's me. But if Drg-Drshya Viveka is clear, then where does the question of conflict arise? Because on Drik, what has happened? Drik, Sakshi, in Sakshi, body, mind, illumined, not only your own, all body, minds, all forms, all of them are illumined by you. But then Jivatvam is superimposed on Sakshi, and that consciousness that is Sakshi is superimposed on the Jiva. Jiva, of course, is no entity only, but mutual superimposition that takes place. And therefore, there is suffering. So that distinction, when recognized, the āvrina shaktih, the ignorance which seem to as though cover the Sakshi. How Sakshi can be covered? Well, like clouds in the sky, the clouds are produced because of the sun. Okay. But the clouds have the power to as though cover the sun. So particularly in the northern hemisphere, you say, oh, today there's no sun. What? Of course there is the sun. The sun has definitely risen, but you can't see it. But what you can see, oh, it's a dark day today. There is a dark cover of clouds. All that is seen in the light of the sun only. So even this āvrina shaktih, okay, the shakti of as though covering one's knowledge, as though covering one's consciousness or one as consciousness, if it is recognized as so, then there is no problem. Correct? So likewise, the adhyaropa, the superimposition, or what has been falsely associated with the world, with sarga having absolute reality, Meaning the world it imposes on me. The world is too much to handle, etc., etc. Okay. So all that, if we recognize that all the way, the different names and forms, they are Brahman, then even that avarana shakti does not have the power to as to cover Brahman. So verse 18. Tatha sarga brahmanoscha bhedamavritya tishtati ya shaktis tad vasad brahma vikritatvena bhasate. So it appears that Brahman and the world are two different things. Okay, Brahmanaha and Sarga, the world. So the bheda, the difference, is perceived because we don't understand the Swarupa of Brahman, neither do we understand the Swarupa of this Jagat. Actually, both are one, but they are perceived as different because of the Shakti, the Dvaya, the two Shaktis we spoke about earlier. And as though Brahman seems to be concealed, as though Brahman appears to have modified. But atrapya vrittinashena vibhati brahma-sargayoh bhedastayor vikarasyat sargena brahmani kvachit. But again, when this avriti, this avarna, this as though covering, which is thanks to avidya, okay, when that nasha takes place, when it is destroyed, then what happens? The both the sarga, the world anubhati, the world shines. The world is known to you because you shine, right? So Brahma Bhati, everything else, Anubhati, follows after. Everything shines, everything is known to you. And all the vikaraha, all the different modifications, whom do they belong to? Because Brahman is never changing. Remember, Udeti na astam, there is no rising, there is no setting, and that which ever shines. So all that bheda, and therefore the problems, they no longer exist. Why? Because vikaraha belongs to the world, sarga, na brahmani. The world exists in Brahman. Your world, your names and forms, they exist in you. Then what is the difference? And to indicate that aikyam, the identity, we have the next verse, which is a very important verse of Drg-Drshya Viveka. Now, if we review what has happened so far, okay, across 19 verses, we started with Drg-Drshya. First of all, we recognize what was the need for Viveka in the first place. And we started with our experience of what we are experiencing, and we had two words, Drik and Drishya, seer, seen. And we realized that actually, because of all this mix-up that has happened, and through an investigative process in the light of the Shastra, we can discern and understand who is the real Drik. What is it? Jim Shady. There is one rap song. No, who's the real one? Jim Shady? Please stand up. Anybody knows? Anyway, somebody will know. Huh?
Yeah, Eminem, Swamini. I mean, Eminem.
What is that song?
Will the real Slim Shady please stand up?
Wow. Very nice. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Okay. Will the real Drig please stand up? Why? Because it is all lost everywhere. Okay. So now we understood who's the real Drig is nowhere else. It is you. And that is Chittihi consciousness. Then why I am not able to see it? Why I am not able to live this vision? Oh, because of Adhyaropa. Adhyaropa, because of superimposition. Why it happened? Oh, well, it happened because of avidya. But why avidya? Oh, that's how it is. So then what is the result of all this avidya? Oh, what is reality is as though covered. I don't know who I am. And then in the light of that, I mistake myself to be something that I am not. How do you do that? On the basis of whatever I am associated with. So then what is the real problem? When I'm looking at my mind, I am looking at the thoughts. There is no thought that is not consciousness. The nature of the thought, the nature of the form may be different, but consciousness, chittihi, I pervade each and every thought. So the body, the entire body is an object of awareness in me. The entire mind is an object of awareness in me. So all the way, when it comes to Drg-Drshya Viveka with respect to the individual, when it comes to Drg-Drshya Viveka from the standpoint of Brahman and the world, all names, all forms from the grossest to the most subtle linga sharira, they are all names and forms, and they do not have any independent reality of their own. If so far so good or sort of okay, then we see the next verse. Asti bhati priyam rupam namachetyam shapanchakam adyatrayam brahma rupam jagadrupam tatodvayam. Pancha amsha. There are as though 5 aspects. There are 5 words. Asti is, bhati shines, priyam is desirable, is something you are fond of or attractive. Okay. Nama, rupa, 4 and 5. All these are pancha amshakam. Then adyatrayam, asti bhati priyam, they belong to Brahman. And this Jagad Rupam, that is Nama Rupa, name and form, they belong to what? To the Jagat. Okay. So you take a pot. We often take a pot, okay, because it's the simplest creation one can show. So pot asti is one form. It is. It shines. No, but it's not a fluorescent pot. No. It shines because you shine. It becomes known. It is known. Okay. And it's a pot, therefore it is useful. We like things that are useful, that are utilitarian. So asti bhati priyam. This pot has sentimental value because it is the only pot that I attempted in a pottery class. Oh, wow. Nice. Then maybe you have a pot-bellied person in your life. Asti bhati priyam. Person is, person shines. Is consciousness. and definitely brings you great joy. Asti bhati priyam. Asti bhati priyam, it is the nature of Brahman. In other words, Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That which always is, but it's not inert. That which always is Satyam. That which is ever consciousness. And that consciousness which does not have any limits, no boundaries, no lack, is full in and of itself. So the nature of this Jagat, the world, is Brahman. The nature of this body-mind is Brahman. What else is there? All the way it is Brahman, Asti Bhati Priyam. No, but I don't experience it like this. Of course, we don't. Why? Because what is Priyam is subjective. Our Raga Dvesha inhibits and creates a division between me, who is unhappy, and that happiness that seems to be out there. You know, earlier there used to be an ad for a chewing gum. I don't remember the brand. And that whoever, that main character in the ad, he would have the chewing gum. And then he has this beatific smile on his face. Then somebody slaps him. The smile still continues. There is no difference, you know. So he is still smiling like that. And then, of course, they are saying, wow, what a chewing gum. It puts you in this phenomenal state of mind. Okay. So that chewing gum, or whether it is the world, it does not stand in opposition to you. Our experience might be like that. But actually, the world is a manifestation of me. That is Asti Bhati Priyam. What is this Jagat? It is all Nama Rupa. We have seen, you know, all because of the Pancha Mahabhuta, the 5 great elements that have come from Satyam Jnanam Anantam. So some permutations, some combinations are there, and that's fine, but we never lose sight. Just like a wise auntie. So she is babysitting 5 children. And some earlier, 30, 40 years ago, people say, oh, you got imported biscuits. So we will do some rationing. So some animal shaped biscuits. You can take the dogs, you can take the camel, you can take the elephant. All the children are very happy. Now, in her great wisdom, this auntie knows that all biscuits taste the same flavor. But for the children, they are caught up with the form. No, I want elephant. No, dog is my favorite. Okay, you can have it. You can have it. So the attention on name and form and our raga dvesha inhibits the seeing that I am Ananda, I have no lack. Right? And so that's what is being said in the 21st and at least last verse for today. Khavai Khavayavyagni Jalorvishu Devatiryank Naradishu Abhinna Satchidanandaha Vidyete Rupadamani. So this kham or kha, vayu, all the 5, the Pancha Mahabhutas are being named. So in space and in vayu, in air, in agni, in fire, in jala, waters, And in this issue, this issue, the Prithvi, what is common? Satchidanandaha, asti bhati priyam. Then, oh, you only spoke about inner things. No. We will talk about Devata also. So, Devata, all the different Devatas. Tiryang, very nice word, Tiryang means those people who are horizontal. Horizontal means animals because their system is in a horizontal position. So, and Nara, different people. So, all of these, all different beings, even in them, Satchidananda, Abhinnaha, without any difference. And if at all you see any difference, it is only in name and form and function. Nama Rupa, Matram. Or in other words, we say Isha Vasyam Idam Jagat Sarvam. Sarvam. So this Idam Sarvam, this Jagat Sarvam, what is it? It is all the way, it is Isha, all the way it is Drik, it is Sakshi, it is Chitihi. And Nama Rupa, they have their play. So thoughts have their play in the consciousness that you are. Different roles, different responsibilities, birth and death, they have their play in what you are. And that's it. Okay, I want one volunteer. Yeah, nice. Priya is from Trinidad and Tobago.
Hi, Hari Om.
Hari Om, yeah. So, Priya, I would like you to look around your room and say, right now, just tell me, give me some name. What do you see in your room?
Okay, so screen, pictures, desk.
Okay, one at a time. So let's say you say picture. Yeah, picture. This is a picture of what, may I ask?
So it's one of my kids' drawings. So it's like a bus. It's like a school
Okay,
bus.
so kids' drawing. Yeah.
Mhm.
So you say, and I'm going to break you all into groups. So this kids drawing is asti bhati priyam. Just say that.
Kids' drawing is asti bhati priyam.
What does that mean to you?
So it has existence. Well, it's Satchit Ananda. So it has isness, right? Bhati is that it's consciousness, so it's known because of I, right? Priyam means that well, we spoke about it in terms of like raga dvesha, but it's also anantam, like it has
It's your kids drawing. Come on, it's Priyam. It's Priyam.
Yes, Priyam. It's loved. Yeah, it's loved. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, now, can you find something in the room that you don't like? Going to be difficult, but please look around. Or you've been thinking you wanted to declutter it, but that annoying thing is still there. Huh?
Okay, so there are lots of papers like on the corner of the desk that I have to go through and throw away some.
Okay, some papers, yeah?
Yeah.
So then you say papers asti bhati priyam and see what happens to you.
Okay, so papers asti bhati priyam. So
When you say priyam, what happens?
Well, I mean, I know I have to go through it and get rid of it. So, I mean, like, I love my kid's picture, my kid's drawing, right? But for that, like, I know, like, it's a task I have to do. But I mean, it's both paper. Both of them are paper. And both of them are known to me. Both of them are. So they are the same thing. It's just that they have different name and form. And one of them I love because it's my kid's picture. So I would, I would think of it fondly. I'd want to keep it. Whereas the paper at the corner of the desk, like it's something I have to do and go through. I have to throw away stuff from that. So it's like a task.
Now you're building irritation, perhaps. with the fact that I have to get to this task sooner or later, does that displace the Ananda, the Ananta that you are?
No, it doesn't.
Great. Because what could have happened is the ahankara will latch on to this thing that is icky for me, and I cannot see that this is also priyam. Priyam meaning it is ananda. Ananda doesn't necessarily mean experiential ananda, right? Sometimes ananda is manifest, sometimes it's not, and that's okay. Okay. So, anything else you want to say?
Right. So I mean, so when I say priyam, right, is it that like priyam has to do with raga, dvesha, like my attachment and aversion?
No. Priyam is a word that stands for ananda. Okay. It is, but it's an experiential word. It's a lakshana word for ananda. Ananda is a word for ananta. So that the fullness that I am, I can have preferences, but it cannot displace what I truly am.
Okay. Yes. I understand.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So now I want one more volunteer. No volunteers? See, no volunteers means ahankara is telling you certain things. Why should I? Let me give others a chance. I am so generous. Or I don't want to say something silly. Okay, Prashant. Okay, good. So Prashant, now I'm going to ask you to spotlight you. Okay. We'll identify two people in your life. One, of course, who's very dear to you, and one with whom it's little difficult to get along with. And then you look at, or you visualize that, of course, the one who's dear to you, and you can say the same thing like Priya did. And then we'll see what happens when you say Asti Bhati Priyam to the one that you struggle to get along with. Okay, so go ahead.
The one who's dear to me, I can say my daughter, newborn daughter. So definitely. And then one that I struggle to get along, not anyone in particular, but yeah, maybe one of my colleagues, little bit difficult.
So colleague X, when you say daughter Adya Asti Bhati Priyam, of course. Then colleague, it's okay, you don't need not name. You can say X and then say Asti Bhati Priyam and see what happens to you.
When I say Asti Bhati, it's very clear. So yes, that person also exists and he is known to me because I am conscious. So he's an object in my awareness. So when I say Priyam, immediately my mind switches to that experiential feeling in the mind about that person's behavior or attributes, rather than looking at my anantatvam, like me being limitless. That goes to the background. I have to deliberately bring it. Yeah.
Great.
So
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. So then what? So build on that. So let's just say you see that person is a part of Ishvara's order, the background. So build on that.
So yes, I do understand the reason why he's very very picky and very kind of fault finding and all that. Why he's doing? He's very he wants everything to be done in his way. Otherwise, he feels that something is lacking. So I understand where he is coming from, because he's more a person who likes to work as an individual rather than a team. So that sort of attitude is there. But for me, then I would sometimes feel that wouldn't it be better if he behave differently, like a bit more, if he was friendlier, it would have created a better working relationship, so that expectation would come.
Okay, good. So you're talking about what might make things more effective at work, the functional reality, right? Then what is it that underlies the order that you are experiencing? The frustration of having to deal with such a colleague and his background. So the order of this vyavaharika satyam, what is it that pervades it? And please use the word I.
The vyavaharika satyam that I experience, it is pervaded by Ishvara's psychological order. Like anything that caters to my likes and dislikes automatically evokes a pleasant feeling, and that which is not favorable, it creates a bit of frustration.
Okay.
So I see
now
there.
wait, hold on. Now apply Drg-Drshya Viveka to what you're feeling.
So I am the same person who feels joyful when I look at my daughter and play with her and everything, and I am the same person who gets frustrated um, when dealing with a difficult stakeholder at work. So I remain the same, as in both of those feelings come and go while I outlive, or like I live in and through them. So I guess like those feelings of pleasure and frustration are temporary. They come and go. They're incidental. But I am the witness of both of those feelings. So
What's going on with you as you say it? Do you see the meaning of what you're saying? Is it the ahankara or is it drik, Sakshi, that's saying this?
It is still the ahankara, I think, because I am speaking from my understanding of the teaching, that in reality I am the Sakshi, who is changeless and not disturbed by the emotions of pleasure and frustration. I remain unchanged and the same. But when I'm actually expressing it, it is still the ahankara, because I'm talking from the standpoint of my understanding. Like,
Okay, very good, excellent. So when you suppose you say that I, the Sakshi, illumine Prashant, the ahankara, I am not Prashant. There happens to be a name given by my parents and so on. So build on that. And whatever you've heard about Chitihi consciousness.
yeah, okay. So, so this ahankara, or this individual Prashant, is also available only during waking state, when I have to deal with the people or things which are dearer to me, and who are not as dear to me. But in dream, neither my daughter is there or that difficult colleague is there, and in sleep no one is there anyway. So this ahankara is also available only during waking state. It's also not. It's also incidental, even though it is kind of more real than any passing emotion, because it is like constantly there. But during dream and deep sleep, it's still not there, so it is still incidental.
What is always there?
The pure consciousness alone is there.
Good. Well done. Each person look around the room and ideally identify people, source of raga, dvesha, but see that I as the Sakshi, Chittihi, and I am that, what was that Swarupa Sandhanam, Param Brahma Nityam, Tadeva Brahma Aham Asmi, you can say that. So that whatever you see is okay, everything shines because you shine.